Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace and I'm the crocheter designer behind Stitchberry, and I am so happy you are here. Welcome to episode 10 of the Stitchberry podcast. This is a place where I share my finished projects that I've made, knit, crochet, whips that I'm working on, books, other cozy things, anything that's cozy. You'll find that here. So I hope you're all having a lovely day so far, and go ahead and grab a cup of coffee or whatever beverage you prefer. I am drinking blueberry iced coffee this morning and it is so good. It is one of my absolute favorites. It's so good in the spring and summer. And grab a project to work on too. This is definitely going to be a shorter episode. I've just been focused on a couple of projects, but I've made so much progress and I really wanted to sit down and record another episode. Plus, because it's a little bit shorter on the project side of things, I have a couple of other things to show you and talk about that I am so excited. So let's get right into it with finished projects. Now, my one and only finished project, I can't even show you because it was a gift for someone and I already gave it to them, and I was planning on getting a photo of it to at least like put on the screen because I knew I wasn't going to be recording before I gave it to her, and I totally forgot. So you're just gonna have to trust me that I did finish something, and that is a pair of socks. If you have watched the past one or two episodes, you will have seen me work on them. They were kind of like a pinky color. It was scraps from my stash. Just did simple vanilla socks, super easy. They had a little bit longer of a leg. I didn't even intend to do that, but I just like kept going and I was like, well, this is good, let's start the heel. But yes, they were for one of my friends. She loved them. Pink is her favorite color. So I finished those a couple weeks ago. So that's probably the shortest finished project section ever, but I literally cannot wait any longer to talk about my other whip that, since finishing the socks, this whip is all I've wanted to work on. Like, I'm not even kidding. It's hard to motivate myself to work on a couple of other projects because I'm having so much fun and I do not want to put this down. So I'm not going to recap everything with this sweater because I have talked about the yarn and just everything so much since like August, and if you've been around for a while, you know what I'm going to talk about. But if you saw my summer project plans video, then you will know that I wanted to work on a sweater using my Autumn in New York yarn by Sorella. I've tried many times to make a sweater. None of them have turned out. Are you ready to see something that semi resembles a sweater? Are you kidding? It's so pretty. It looks so good on the screen. I'm so happy with how this is turning out, and it just looks so pretty. So again, I'm using Sorella yarn, Autumn in New York. It's 3 colors that are from that collection, and then I also ordered their cream color that was from their winter tonals collection. So it's these 3, which I also know the sun. I always film in the morning. The sun is on this side. It is what it is. But it's so pretty. I'm loving how the stripes are turning out, and I'm holding it double with Hobie Diablo. This is a mohair blend. This is perfect if you're like me, you want to knit with mohair but you can't afford 100% mohair, and so this is a great alternative. It has 40% acrylic, 30% mohair, and 30% polyamide. I think that's right. And it's turning out so pretty. The pattern that I'm using is the Essentials sweater by Darling J'adore. It is a DK weight sweater, so I'm holding the fingering weight yarn and the mohair together to make, I think it's like a DK weight, to be honest. I don't know if it's fully DK weight. I don't really know. I didn't do gauge or anything because I'm not someone that does gauge, and that's probably why we had so many issues in the past. But it's turning out really well so far, and I'm really pleased with it. And just the stripes, I wasn't sure if this was going to be my color palette, but I really like it, and I feel like the mohair just helps them to almost blend together more. As you can see, this is what the darkest color looks like. It's like a really dark grayish blue, and let's see here, where is it in the sweater? And this is what, again, I know the lighting is like really off, but this is what it looks like in the sweater. Like the mohair really just helps to lighten it up so much. Let's see if we can hold it like that, and you can kind of see it, but it just blends everything together so nicely. And there are German short rows in the back. At first I wasn't sure what I was going to do with that because I am striping, so there's more rows in the back, as you can see. That helps to push up the back. So this is the back here, and then there aren't as many rows in the front. And I was nervous that when I was in the middle of doing them, I'm like, I don't know how I should do the striping on this, because at first I thought, oh, I'll finish all the short rows and then I'll do the same amount of stripes in the front, because I'm doing 12 rounds per color. So I was like, I'll finish up all the short rows and continue doing 12 more in the front of the cream. Well, then I realized that's going to look really bad, because then you're going to have this huge section in the back that's cream. So then I decided, as soon as I finish the short rows, I'm going to switch colors. And I think I did one more round around of the cream, just to tie it all together nicely, and then start the next one. And it actually looks really good. Like, this doesn't bother me at all. Like, I feel like I don't know if this is what like store-bought sweaters do when they have striping and you have more rounds in the back to push it up, but I think it looks really good. Like, it doesn't bother me at all that there's only that small little section of white there. So I am literally ready to separate for the sleeves. I was hoping to do it last night, and I was gone all evening, didn't get around to it. But the next round I am splitting for the sleeves and then working the body, which is so exciting. I can't wait. This has been such a fun project, and I think it's only taken me about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I think 2.5 weeks to 1.5. Now I need to look to see when I started it. Yeah, 2.5 weeks ago is when I started it, and look how much progress I've made since then. Like, that's so exciting, and I feel like it's going to go by even faster. And now I just want to knit sweaters all the time. I think one of my issues was that I was just doing a fingering weight sweater, and I'm realizing the difference that a DK weight sweater, as far as how fast it goes by, and the knitting, because using larger needles versus a fingering weight sweater, I don't know if I will ever be able to attempt to knit a fingering weight sweater again, because this is just so much fun and it's going by really quickly, for my standards at least. And yes, I am knitting a mohair sweater in the summertime, but honestly it makes sense. Like, we talk about knitting, you know, all the sweaters in the fall and winter, but then you can't wear them or as much. Like, knitting this like in the summertime means I have it for the entire season of fall and winter, so I feel like it makes sense. This is just my strictly in air conditioning, when I have an ice cold beverage next to me project. I'm not taking this outside. That would be too much, but I am having so much fun working on this, and yeah, I can't wait to work on it more today too. And my next project I have also made quite a bit of progress on since I finished the marineri. I still don't know how to say it. Since I finished that sweater, I have had a lot more crochet time and so much time to work on this design. So this is the Advent or scrappy, whatever you want to call it, shawl wrap. It's not a shawl, I think it is. It's a wrap or a scarf that I'm working on that's specifically designed for a 24-day mini skein Advent. But again, you could use scraps, you could just do it all one color, whatever you want. I made so much progress. So again, I don't remember where I was. This is my issue. I don't film this every week because I don't make enough progress for a weekly podcast episode, but I really do need to put a stitch marker where I was at the last podcast episode, even if it's like a month in between, just so I can see and you can see the progress that I've made from like month to month or every 3 weeks or whatever. I don't even know. But wow, yes, I have made a lot of progress. I'm almost positive I was somewhere down here. I'm pretty sure I was back here. I really should go back to the other podcast episode and look, because I think that'd be really interesting, because I know I've made a lot of progress. But I'm pretty sure I was like in this color, and look at all of that I have crocheted, and I'm already starting to work on the decreases. I'm over halfway done with this color. Oh, we're all tangled up. And then I have these 3 colors left. So I'm so close to finishing this. This is something I started, I think, in February, I think. So it has been a long project. I honestly haven't minded how long it's taken me, just because it's been such a perfect mindless project that when I get distracted with another project, like I did with the tulips or the mushrooms or the marineri sweater, this is something that I can just always come back to, and I don't have to like refresh my brain on what to do or anything. So it's been ideal. And I intended to weave in ends as I go, and then I didn't. So we will have 48 ends to weave in at the end of this. But you know, we'll just put on a good show and time it and see how long it takes, because I think that'd be interesting too. But I am using yarn by Oak and Fiber. I don't even know, I haven't really seen her being super active recently, so I don't even know if she's still selling yarn or anything. I will link her down below just in case she is. I know she was going to transition things from her website to Etsy, so I will put some sort of link to her down below. But she put together this gorgeous palette for me. So pretty. I think of the colors that I have put in since last podcast. Big surprise, this green. Oh, come on. I'm so sorry. The lighting is so bad. This green right here, it's so pretty. And this pale peachy pink, so pretty. This should be finished by the next episode, which is so exciting because I've been sharing so much of it. And I am hoping for maybe somewhere between September and October, maybe November release, because it is designed for Advent. So I don't know if it's better to release it sooner or to release it like close to Advent season. So I'm in no rush with this. It's just been a really fun, mindless project, and I'm honestly like really excited to wear this. And you all know I'm not a color person, but there is something about this that is just so pretty, and I really cannot wait to wear it in the fall and winter. Okay, and I briefly talked about this in my summer project plans video, but I have these little scraps from every color left over, and I need to weigh this. I assume this is about 5 grams. That's my guess. 5 grams times 24 is like 100, like 120-ish, somewhere in there, because I'm like 25 times 5 is 125. So it'd be something between 100 and 125 grams that I have, which is like a full skein, which honestly, that sounds like too much yarn. I don't think these are 5 grams. These are probably more like 2, honestly. But still, 2 times 26, or not 26, 24. What is that? 48. Why did that take so long? 2 times 24 is 48, which is still like half of a skein. Like 50 gram, like it's not uncommon to get 50 gram skeins. So it's still a great amount. And all of the colors are just so pretty that I want to make something out of them, which honestly, they look very cute in my little snail basket, but I do really want to make something out of them. And again, I talked more about possibilities in my project plans video. I'm thinking about making a magic knot ball. So I'm basically creating a skein from all of these by like knotting them all together, because some of the colors are just so different, like this really deep plum versus this like orangish color. I don't want those two together. I think I'm going to do like a gradient to make them a little bit more cohesive, but creating one big ball from all of the scraps and maybe doing some sort of garland. It would be really crazy and insane garland, but I think it would be really pretty and really cute at the same time, and a perfect little decoration that I can put here in my office space. I'm probably going to make some Instagram posts, you know, maybe do a little magic knot ball tutorial on Instagram, maybe also my blog. So definitely keep up over there if you would like to see more of this. And my last project, super simple, super quick, we won't talk about it too long, is washcloths. So again, in my summer project plans video, I talked about how I went through my yarn, created a list of all of the projects that I wanted to work on. And actually, it's right here. And a big theme throughout all my projects is using up my scraps like these. So I wanted to use up all of the cotton yarn in my stash, which I really don't have that much, but I did want to just use it up and get it out of my stash. So of course I'm going to make washcloths because it's my favorite thing. I use washcloths literally every single day. I love using them on my face. They're just very soft and gentle if you have the right cotton yarn. So this is the progress that I'm making. This is the first washcloth. I'm using the Pebbles pattern. It's a pattern by me washcloth. I'm using We Crochet Dishy. This is the color Linen. And again, this is like the right cotton yarn to use for washcloths. It is so soft, so perfect. It's very durable. It's absolutely perfect for washcloths. It goes through the wash perfectly. So yes, I have that yarn. I also just threw into my bag because I've been carrying this around as like a travel project. I also just have this swan color, which is also Dishy, and I also have this gray, which I think it's Dishy. I'm honestly not 100% sure. And I have another full skein of this color as well in my stash. This is just like a fun little project when I'm out and about and I need some crocheting to do, so I haven't been working on it too much, but I would like to work through like all of my cotton yarn in June. I think that that's a pretty reasonable goal, especially because they're super fast, and especially once I finish my wrap, I will probably just focus on getting through the rest of my cotton yarn before I start another crochet project. That's my plan. I'm also using a new crochet hook. So I am a die-hard Clover & More crochet hooks. Like, those are the best crochet hooks. I've been crocheting with them for, at this point, probably 5 or 6 years, and like, they are the only crochet hooks that I use. But ever since Sorella Yarn started selling these crochet hooks, I wanted to try them out so badly because they're so pretty. Like, they are 1000% my aesthetic. They have this beautiful blush pink handle and then like a rose gold hook. And I almost debated just like buying the whole set, because why not? But I was like, no, that's a lot of money. First of all, that would be a smart financial decision right now, but second, you should try it out first before you invest a bunch of money, which I'm really glad I did, because I'm undecided about how I feel about this hook, to be honest. I got 2 sizes. So this is, I got the H5mm and the G4mm. I'm undecided, and I've only used this for washcloths, so I think I need to try these out with different yarns and not one that's such like a high durability, if that makes sense. Like, I need to use these hooks for other crochet projects first before I decide. Like, I think it'd be good to like try out the 4mm with like the fingering weight yarn before I decide my official opinion. They're just, it's not that I don't like them, it's just they're very new to me, and it's a new feeling because I have just crocheted with Clover & More hooks for so long that that's just what I'm used to. And so I'm just trying to see how I feel about these, and I don't know, just see if I like them or not. Again, I don't know if I do. They're just different right now. Hopefully I will have a better idea of how I feel about these. Okay, and I wanted to share a brand new little resource freebie that I have posted. So I have been crochet designing for 4 years now, and as you can imagine, I have really developed a system and a process that works well for me. I have a whole checklist of everything that I do for each pattern release, and I thought that it would be really fun to share that checklist with all of you. So if you are a seasoned crochet or knit pattern designer and you just want, you know, a new checklist or something to follow, or if this is your first time releasing a pattern, this is a great place to start. I'm just going to show you a little bit of it. I will have it linked down below so that you can have it sent right to your inbox. There we go. So cute. I drew these little granny squares to put in the corner, which I thought was really fun. And it has like 4 different sections, so kind of like the pattern, platform stuff, which is like Etsy and things like that, marketing, so creating all of the marketing material, and then as well as day of release. Can look like a lot at first glance, but you just take it one section at a time, and it's not as overwhelming as it seems because you're not doing everything all at once. And in the PDF, because this is a downloadable free PDF, I should mention that, I also have this little page that kind of just walks through my tips and tricks on using this and explaining. While this is a comprehensive list that covers every aspect of releasing crochet pattern, it's not necessarily a detailed list, more of the overall list of releasing a crochet design. And as I kind of mentioned on the sheet, you may need to break down some of the tasks in, you know, your weekly or your daily planner to help you work through that. So I just wanted to share this as a free resource for you all, and again, I will have that linked down below. And I have talked about this like 10 times already in this episode, so I'm just going to very quickly share that I did upload a new video, which is my summer plans. So talking about all of my plans for this summer. You will have already seen some of the stuff that I talked about because we're already implementing and we are actually following the plans that I have, because every other plans video I don't really end up following at all. So we're actually, you know, doing pretty good with that as well. So I will also have that video linked down below for you all. Also, random side note, these just made me really happy, so I really just wanted to share them. It is a Saturday morning, and so I went to the farmer's market literally right before sitting down to film this episode, and I just had to share my adorable little treasure that I got. So in the summer plans video, that's like the 11th time I mentioned it, I talked about how I want to decorate more of my office space, which, side note, I went shopping with a friend recently and we went to a fair trade store and they had these really cool like quotes on, I don't even know if it's like some type of recycled paper. It's really cool, and it had this quote from Anne of Green Gables, which, if you know, you know, Anne of Green Gables is my absolute favorite story series of all time. So this is, "Dear world," she murmured, "you are very lovely and I am glad to be alive in you." So this makes me very happy, slowly adding things to my space over here. And the other thing that I acquired today that I will be adding up here on the wall are these beautiful dried flowers. How pretty. These are gonna last so long. I absolutely love them so much. So my plan is to put up a hook, like a command hook, and then just like hang them down below. I'm thinking I'm going to take off this just so you can see the flowers a little bit more, even though they are really pretty like in this too. But I don't know, I literally just bought these like an hour ago, so I'm just still so excited about them that I had to share them. And lastly, I don't do this every podcast episode, but I try to, but I've been failing epically at it, is sharing what I've been reading. I go through phases where I just like can't stop reading and then I just like fall off for several weeks, but that's okay. The best book I've read in the past like 2 or 3 months, which I have been in a little bit of a reading slump for 2 or 3 months, is The Hawthorne Legacy. This book, so good, and this is the second book in the Inheritance Games series, and I'm pretty sure when I read the Inheritance Games I talked about it. Maybe I didn't, but it is, I think it's supposed to be like YA. I'm honestly not even sure. It is about a high schooler, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is. But if you are into like the whole like Knives Out aesthetic vibes, you will definitely love this, which Knives Out is literally like my favorite movie of all time. But this is the second book in the series, and basically just the whole overarching storyline throughout all of the books, and there's 3 or 4 books, I can't remember how many, is this one girl, which I forget her name, Kaylee, is that right? I don't even remember. Avery, it's Avery, I just saw it on the back. So she inherits this whole fortune estate from this billionaire, and as part of the agreement so that she can officially like get the inheritance, she has to go live at his house, and while she's there she has to go live with this man's family, which, you know, they're obviously not very happy with her because she took like their whole inheritance. But basically the whole storyline is she's trying to figure out why he like left her like the entire inheritance versus his family, because she didn't know him or anything. She never even heard of him until she received his inheritance. So it's really fun. It's a fun little mystery, but it's not like scary or anything, and It's so good. Highly recommend. It's a very quick, easy read, which is so perfect, and yeah, I love it so much. And I need to read the third one like stat because so good. And I think I even liked the second one more than the first one, and the first one was like so good. I didn't think it could get any better, and then it did. And the other book that I finished, I think was it this past week or the week before, is Little Women. I'm extremely familiar with the story, but I never like sat down and read the book. So I started it back in January. I really wanted to like read it because I have this beautiful copy of Little Women, and it has these really beautiful colored illustrations in it and just other illustrations, and so I really wanted to read it, and I got decently far, and then like I stopped reading it for like 2 months, and a couple weeks ago when I tried to pick it back up again to read it, I just couldn't. I realized I wasn't enjoying reading it, and I was like about 2/3 of the way done with the book. So then I decided to switch over to audiobook because I was like, well, I wanted to like read this just because I love this copy so much, but I was like, I did read like 2/3 of it, and so it's more important to me to finish the book and enjoy it versus just forcing myself to read it. So I finished the last 1/3 of the book on audiobook, and that was like the best decision ever. It was so good, and I loved listening to it while I was working or getting ready for the day or whatever. So that is another book that I finished recently, and it's such a beautiful story. I love classics like this so much. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. Those are 2 books that were absolutely amazing that I read recently, and I think that that is all that I have today. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments a project that you are working on or a book that you read recently that you loved. I would absolutely love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a lovely and cozy day, and I will see you next time.